Imagine this. It's the 1990s. I'm a teenager living in West Virginia. I have a subscription to Soldier of Fortune magazine, and my grandfather just bought me an SKS and 1,200 rounds of steel core ammo for my birthday. I basically think I'm indestructible. I'm going to overthrow the government. I'm going to take out the UN. Yeah, it's going down. So what is my next logical move? Well, obviously, I need to build a shelter and dig a bunker. So, how did that work out for me? Well, not so well. I built the bunker, but before I got a chance to actually build the shelter, life happened. My dad got a job in Florida, and the family packed up and moved before I could finish my forward operating base. So today, we are going to pick up where I left off and build ourselves a proper shelter using this tool roll that I recently got in for review from my friends at Roaring Fire Gear. And yeah, look at look at this thing. I have this thing packed with so many tools. I could probably rebuild civilization single-handedly. So let's get into it and do something that is probably my most favorite activity in the woods: getting dirty and building stuff. Okay, so I'm definitely ready to get into this build. Let's have a look at the tool roll and see what we got inside. Now, a few years back, I did a review of Roaring Fire's version 1 tool roll, which I liked a lot. And this is version 2, which is pretty gosh darn sick. Look at this, right? We got augers, we got folding saw, we got a hatchet, and we got a mallet, right? Looking pretty darn good. Now, over here on this side, got this pocket, and here I got some plastic sheeting, which you're gonna see this in use in a few minutes. And yeah, so, you know, if you're familiar with tool rolls, this looks pretty much like what you would expect from a tool roll. But stand by, there's more. And yeah, look at how dirty it's getting. I almost feel like they should have done a different color with this tool roll because it just gets dirty so fast. So yeah, maybe that's an improvement they can get into in the future. But here's like the big change. Their other tool roll just had that side I showed you. Now what they've done is they've expanded into these pouches, which is pretty awesome. So let's get started with this pouch here. And here we got cordage. I got zip ties, I got Velcro wraps, I got Gorilla Tape, I got a sharpening stone, which definitely need to have that, and got some paracord, right? So looking good. That side is solid. Then over here, we got some gloves, got some bungees, got a pencil for marking things, so we get some measurements on point. And then I also threw this in here, right? One of those handheld chainsaws, which is pretty nice. And this one is actually gosh darn functional. I've used it, I've had this for years, and it works really well. Other versions, not so well. They usually snap. But moving on, we got some number 36 tarred bank line. If you don't have this in your bushcraft builder toolkit, boy, you are missing out. This is good stuff. You're gonna see this in action in a few minutes. I got some Night Eyes bungees, flexi bungees, and then for those augers, I got this, right? Wonder what this could be used for. I guess we'll have a look at that in a minute as well. And then finally, in this fourth pouch, I have a digger, right? A little shovel thing. Right now, maybe I should have an e-tool. Maybe I'll add an e-tool in the future. But this pretty much covers any sort of digging I need to do, and it's actually pretty gosh darn effective. And you can see, you can cut a tree limb down to size to fit in here to kind of have an improvised shovel, which is nice. And then I got some nails. Look at that. Look at all these nails. These things are great. Cast iron nails, right? Check them out. Good stuff. And then, of course, always have some gosh darn trash bags. So that's the basics of the tool roll. Now let's get into action, which basically means the first step of building any sort of bushcraft shelter is finding long straight trees and cutting them down, and then cutting them down to size. So let's go. Okay, now that we got that done, next move is to build the roof and the rear wall, and then we'll probably call it a day. All right, 4 hours later, and we are looking good with stage one of the build. Now, granted, there's definitely more to be done, but I got some shade, I got the back retaining wall built, and I will return at a later date. Hopefully this isn't torn down, hopefully it's still here, and if it is, what I'm gonna do is waterproof that roof 100% with some plastic sheeting, reinforce it, make it a little tougher, build out some sidewalls, and build a raised bed. But for like 4 hours of work, and honestly 3 hours of work, because the first hour was spent trying to find a location to set this up, I think things turned out pretty well. Now, talking about how things turned out, let's talk about that tool roll for a minute. So I tested version 1 of the tool roll and loved it. Version 2, even better. It has everything I need, and I managed to pack more than what I needed, twice the amount of tools in this damn thing. So yeah, basically I've prepared to rebuild civilization from the ground up. So I'm probably gonna carry half the amount of tools next time around. But with that being said, I guess if I'm being honest, the tool roll is not exactly perfect. I would give it a high B+ or an A, and what can make it 100%? Well, I would like to see that yellow fabric, that exterior fabric, which looks great, don't get me wrong, good aesthetic. I like to see that tougher, better construction, because I just feel like over time of it getting dirty and wet, it's just gonna tear, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it way too much, and probably so because I have OCD. But that would be like the main thing I would tweak with it. Aside from that, boy, the guys at Rolling Fire Gear always hook up a great item for me to review. They're one of the few companies that I do reviews with. And why? Because they have good quality gear, and I love using their stuff. And hey, I got a review to do, so I got to be out in the woods all day long building a bushcraft shelter. So getting their gear is a great excuse for me to get out in the woods and build a secret fort and plot the overthrow of the government. So if you like building secret forts in the woods and getting dirty and plotting to overthrow the evil tyranny that rules us, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button for more awesome content in the future. Thanks for watching. See you next time.